different incidences of life happening. Um, and there were two that were kind of opposing. The one was that when I wanted to become a therapist in South Africa, you have to go through a whole series of interviews. It's a big deal. You don't just get in because of your marks. You've got to be approved. And it's like 3 or 4 over takes place over like 3 days kind of thing. And I had applied, I wasn't straight out of university. I'd been working and done all sorts of things, and I'd been doing volunteering, counseling, and all of that. Anyway, so it took me 3 years before I actually got into a program. And it was, I was lucky because I had a job that was very interested in, and I loved doing it. So, but still, when you're in your 20s and you really want to do something and you don't get in, it's very disappointing. So that was the one experience. And then of course, until I managed, and the third year I got into a program, and the program that I got into, I decided afterwards was the best one of all of the ones that I had applied to for me, because it worked with it. The training was specifically for children and families. And so from that, I kind of learned that, you know, good things come without one realizing it, and you go through these terrible disappointments. But in the end, it can happen that you do get what is good for you. So all of this in terms of just looking at life and trying to figure life out, and of course good things don't always come to everybody at all. And for me, I was acutely aware of that because of living in apartheid. Anyway, so then fast forward, and I have to have a liver transplant. And I had the most amazing circle of people around me, because I had 8 people come forward, because they said that I had to get a live donor. Otherwise, I wouldn't make it, because there just aren't enough organs to go around. And that was, how ill my body had gotten by that point. And my daughter was 9, and I did not want to leave her. So I sat myself down and I said to the universe, I'm ready to receive. I'll take what seems like the impossible. And 2.5 weeks later, my husband was with his band. They were doing a musical. And the drummer's girlfriend heard about me, and she came to Bruce and said, I'm a teacher. I've got 2 months off during the year. I can donate. And so we didn't know whether this was going to happen or not. Anyway, she applied, and she was the first person to get approved. So fast forward again, 16 years later, and I just had a whole series of these mouth operations that were unbelievably painful. And they took place over about 18 months, and I was very, very, very ill, because the antibiotics I had to have, I would have died otherwise. But they also caused an enormous amount of upset. And then I I recovered from it eventually, and I only had one op left. And I had to think to myself then, okay, how am I going to get back on track? Because I'd hardly worked over those 2.5 years. And I'd seen Chris's advert before, kind of, to come up on my feed, but I'd always just skipped it. And so then it came up again, and I thought, okay, let me listen to this, because coaching, is an alternative for me. But I never really wanted to have to run a business. It's not where my forte lies. And in the ad, he said they were looking for coaches, and of course I didn't have all my whereabouts about me in terms of, well, what does that mean? But anyway, and I thought, here's my chance. So I then thought, okay, now how am I going to do this? And in watching the Recode, I knew that it was very similar on a neuropsychological level. It was very, very similar to a process that I'd been taught for debriefing trauma or emotional overwhelm. And I thought, okay, well, if I can learn that process, then I can really, that's something quite significant. So I bought the program for $100, and I think you've done that the 5 days. And through that, we got onto the Facebook. I got onto the Facebook competition, and I got connected with one of the coaches, and I entered the competition like you have now. So how do I prepare? So my preparation was, if I don't win it, because I couldn't do it if I didn't win it. And I was so much debt in terms of because of my health still. And so I would visualize. I visualized what it would look like for me if I had only the process, and then I visualized what it would look like me winning the competition. What would I do? So you go through those things, senses that we learned in NLP. You go through, what would it look like? What would it feel like? That's really important. What sounds do you hear? Who's with you? And what would your future? I thought, what would my future look like? Took one day in my future, what it would look like. And I did that. I think the competition was on for 10 days or something. I did that every day. If I managed twice a day, but definitely once a day. And I often managed twice a day because I was really wanting this. And then by the time the ticket draw came, there were 300 people for the draw. And what they did was they cut up little bits of paper with people's names on and put them into a big hat, top hat. And Harriet came to pull the name out. And she pulled it out and she said Alison. And my immediate thought was that it was another woman in the group also called Alison. And then she said Cassidy. And that's what happened. So I'm sorry, it's a hell of a long story. But just to give you context in terms of how I'd come to deciding that that's what I needed to do. I hope that makes sense.
It does, thank you. It's a Facebook competition now as well, so same thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're very welcome.
Just listen for all those inner roars. Yay!
Exactly, Hans.
You're the winner. Congratulations, Ian.
Yes.
I didn't know they did it via Hat Dwarf, so yeah, thanks for that.
Yes, they they initially they pull people out. And they make it a small amount, and then Chris said he just couldn't choose, and I don't blame him, because the stories, people's lives and what they'd done with their lives, I still wish I should have screenshotted it. That's what I should have done, because even with my work, just hearing so many, reading so many stories of incredible triumph, like the most unbelievably difficult things that they'd overcome and what they'd done with it. I was really, there would I dare to say this, but there were times where I thought, I don't know whether I was the right person. I won't say that out too loudly.
There is no right or wrong person.
It's
I know,
amazing.
Hans.
And wow, it's a miracle right there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's like that now, there's so many entries, it's like, whoa, and so many stories. It's like, I really want to win it.
What do you
Otherwise, it's
win if
like
you win?
10,000. It's like 10, well, he gives you they've offered me a scholarship before, but it's like £10,000, and that's like, I haven't got £10,000 to spend on.
No, and you know what, Ian? I'm sorry to say this, so please forgive me, and everybody's got different opinions about this. But I know of a lot of coaching programs that are really good. And this one is different, excepting it's heavily based in NLP work, which is, there's lots of that available. In my estimation, it really is not worth what they are charging for it. It really, really isn't. It's not even registered with the International Coaching Federation. It's an amazing community of people that gather in there. No doubt about that. That's what I'm really grateful for the project, is the people that I met. That program is way overpriced.
Where's
You
the
get
most
coaching programs.
expensive?
Yeah, you get programs for $5,000 that are registered with the International Coaching Federation. And it might be, different work, but I don't think so. And NLP work is very, very, very powerful. And that's those are his techniques, and that's what Chris is unbelievably skilled at. He's really skilled with that. I have an enormous respect for him on that.
What does NRP
And
stand for?
NLP is neuro-linguistic programming.
Oh,
And then the other thing also is a course that, you know, the two things was, the one was the Recode, which I had in my exposure to psychology I'd never come across. And then Robert Fritz's work on structure, which is very important. So I was grateful for that. And, you know, so he could add another two grand or what more for that. But he's a very good marketer, very good marketer. Doesn't always mean to say that you get value for your product then, though.
Yeah, it's the most expensive course I've ever come across. Like coaching thing, it's the most expensive one that I've ever seen.
Mm.
For your hands, if you want to enter it, I can send you the details. The draw's on the
10,000.
30th.
Please, yeah, yes.
Mm.
Heinz and I, we are going to attend something, you know, called a new regime today with I think there's 7 hosts, you know, John Sarah, Marissa Peer, Jack Canfield, and and some other people.
Is that through Mind Valley, Chi?
Uh, maybe I don't. Yeah, most of them they've been there, yeah, on Mind Valley. But I think it's their own. I saw it today, and then I signed up for it.
I think it's about manifestation.
Mind Valley's got really good programs, and they are reasonably priced.
But this one is for free. You know, it's a 3-day.
That's nice.
Event.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing, Alison. I'm going to visualize every day until the 30th.
Yeah, and it's fun doing it, you know.
It's an ongoing process.
For me, yeah. And what I was going to say, is for me, it was, I had to really take myself in hand and say, well, you know, if you really want this, then you got to do the work. You can't just wish it. You got to prepare yourself for it.
So put on Spice Girls. I wanna. I really, really, really want to sing it.
I think I have to go back and listen to what you told Alison many times. That was so powerful. Yeah, thank you for sharing.
You're so welcome, Chi. It's so simple when we know what to do, right?
Yeah, it's like tuning into the right station, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We have to be realigned to the truth and to love
Yes.
in order to be the best version of ourselves.
Correct.
But yeah, it's an ongoing process. We have to do it daily. We have to live with it and be it. And there's no limit.
Yep.
Vision it.
We have to
Mm.
remembering to do that. Right? Don't forget to remember.
But if I forgot, it's because I haven't remembered. That's almost like the chicken and the egg. Don't forget to remember.
Yes. Don't forget to remember to be you and what you are.
So Alison, I'm just curious because it's not accredited. Does that mean you couldn't use it in like a health setting?
I'm so sorry. Could you ask that again? I couldn't hear clearly.
Because the certification isn't accredited, does that mean like you couldn't use it in like a healthcare setting or?
It wasn't necessarily a problem for me, but it is a problem for people that don't have my background and are going into coaching for the first time, or anything like. So they don't have any mental health background, and then they get this coaching, but there's no accreditation with the ICF. And from what I can make out in the UK, if you've got a coaching program, if you've been trained as a coach, and it is an ICF approved program, you can get a job. And when I heard that, I was really upset because there were people that I knew that had paid the full amount, and they did not have the money to pay that full amount. And that's the other thing that makes me very cross about the way that they do their marketing. They persuade people to go to a third party to give the money to them, and then they pay and then participants pay off the third party. And I really don't like that. I really, really don't like that at all.
And I got a bonus point. I got a really bad mental health. I'm already covered there. That's a mental health background, if they want any.
Yeah.
Definition of perspective, how you look at the words.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, I haven't learned how to do the stuff. I've been the stuff. Teaching by experience.
Yeah, but they don't worry about that, Hans. They're not at all selective in that way, which is great, because that gives many people opportunity to be able to help others. But the rest of the structures in society don't support that easily. And if you've really struggled to pay for the program,
Yeah.
you still don't know how to do the business part of it.
And it's not you don't get a certificate with like you do with others where you actually learned how to do it. Then you got a certificate that tells that you can do it. You're allowed to do it.
In some ways, yes. And so then you can get hired by an organization, for instance. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody's suited to it.
But the ego for many do.
Yes.
And so there lies the dilemma.
Entrepreneur, it sounds like a lot of work.
It is, and it's
It is.
It
an enormous
was way
amount of
too
work.
fancy a word for me to sort of, it sounds a little too much work in it.
But what is the difference between a teacher and an entrepreneur? It's only maybe the business side of it.
Yeah, but therein lies the rub, as the Americans say. You know, the business side of it is big. It's no small thing.
Right.
Well,
And
you gotta set up taxes, you gotta make a business model, you gotta start the business, you gotta do everything. Compared to just me, I'm great at talking with people. I love talking, but I couldn't make it a business because it was way too much work setting up to just talk to people.
The always between the teacher and the student.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher is as much student as the student.
And what I found for myself was the ethical component, because I wanted to help. But then there's like, well, you gotta charge to help.
Mm. Here we go back to the
to the
I would say that. Then you go back to Allison's teacher who said, "Oh, so you want to be a whore?"
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a perspective.
Yeah. Right.
And it's like so many people could use this work, and I mean, it just appalls me that it was. I see it at $3,000. I think it may have been $3,000, and now it's 10. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What changed?
Yeah. Somebody realized they could make more money. That's what changed.
I know.
Yeah.
I have a word for that, and that's greed.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry for the tone in my voice.
They call it just an expansive business model, not greed. They're just expanding their business model.
I mean, I sit with Ian, and it's like Ian wants this. He wants this kid. He wants to be able to do this. He wants to help others. He wants to share how it helped him. That is fantastic. And then so there's a passion. It's like, I think all of us have this. Like, there's a passion on the inside that didn't write out in a very clear sentence what this passion is, which is cool. Because, and so then we go through life to unwrap what this passion drive is for us. in the infinite possibilities that are out there and the ones that haven't even been discovered yet or created.
Mm.
Call
Yeah,
that
some
our
do it.
purpose.
Some do it to just make other people feel as great as they are feeling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like how it helped me. It's like, oh, everyone can use that.
Mm.
But I sure wouldn't want anyone to go into debt.
But you have to pay large amounts of money to get. Like I was talking to someone the other day, and they said they spent like £50,000 all in all on my net at mine, and I was like, 50,000.
Yeah.
Better question is, what was their return?
Yeah.
That's the better question. Because what you're going now, and it doesn't guarantee anything, right? What is guaranteed is the price.
And that's still flexible. If they want more for it, they'll take it.
Oh dear.
Not to Debbie Downer.
That's true, Heinz.
Hmm?
I said that's true because when I first started, this is in a circle was 24,000, now it's 30,000, but it's gone up like £6.
Oh, they made it cheaper. Then the price is still not 20,000.
It
I
was
gotta say,
24 when I first started,
oh,
but now they've put up to 30, so it's gone up like £6.
God.
24,000. It's like paying 50,000 for a year with William Whitecloud.
Yeah. Is that what William Whitecloud's program costs now?
It's for a personal one-on-one with him. A year one-on-one with him. Also gives you access to Safari and everything. So
yeah. And then if you divide that by 12 and you look at it, you know, how much it is a month, not so bad, right?
That's so nope, it will only take a year's pay to be in it for a year.
Yeah. I think these programs are fine, or the cost of these programs are fine if a corporation is paying for them. They want better managers and innovators in their company. That's fantastic. But to charge individuals this, or people that aren't entrepreneurs already, in other words, know how to run their own business, there's so many different business models that you can develop. And there are wonderful ones out there, where people that are in a position to pay, and people that are in different life positions can still have access.
Have an intuitive payment.
Well,
it looks like when I'm looking into your future, you're gonna make $500,000 a year. Would it be all right if you paid you get 2 years, 4 years ahead, you can pay that much? That should give you a lot more belief in yourself also, because another person just said you're gonna make that much money.
Mm. Ian, if you want to prepare, in addition to that, what I would recommend is that you listen to Robert Fritz's channel on YouTube, and you watch his interviews on, I think he calls it structural interviewing or structural consulting. I can't remember. But if you just put in his name, Robert Fritz, that will come up, because there's so much in how that works that is highly, highly important in terms of turning people's lives around. Like, I worked with a coach. She's a very successful coach. She'd been in the business for 25 years. And she called me up the one day to find out, how the course was going. And I said to the thing about structure was the thing that was very new to me, and that I appreciated the most. And she asked me something. She, just on the heels of that, she asked me something, and I said to her, well, it's because you are constantly in a problem-solving structure. And she was quiet, and then she said, well, how do I get out of that? And I said, no. She said, well, what other structure do I need to bring in? And I said, the creative one. And she immediately got it without knowing about Fritz's work, but it made sense to her. And she could immediately start putting into practice what she hadn't been for years with this issue that she was dealing with. So it's a very, very, very powerful conceptualization of how to go about life. And I can remember the one day I was talking to Jesse, and I can't remember. He asked me a question about structure. I was asking him about it, and then he asked me one back. And I'm so sorry, because I can't remember what his question was. But my answer to him will give you an indication of what his question was. My answer was, well, you can't get more of a creative structure in my mind than the one that I have gotten from yoga in terms of what is life. Can't get more of an creative structure than that, because life is the most creative thing that there is. And what you're doing in all depth meditation paths, it doesn't matter which one it is you are becoming what you are. You're learning to put the ego aside. You learning to manage the ego instead of the ego managing you.
Amen. Ego is the opposite side of our higher self. So the ego is the opposite of love. You know, we have to choose between our higher self or ego. We can't be both at the same time.
No. But your higher self also, I think to some extent, it does contain the ego. So for me, it's more about learning to manage it than obliterating it.
Right.
Ego is based on the limitations life provides.
As long as we are part of this world, you know, we have an identity.
Yep.
We have an ego.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Our identity is, you know, who we are, who our mothers are, and where we are born. We don't have to put more on us than that. That is the minimum, you know, we have to take on us. This is
Yeah.
Not more is necessary than that.
That's right.
Or always, if we put too much on ourselves, it's dragging us down. It's heavy stuff. The ego would drag us around, you know, all day long.
Yep.
We have to be in charge of our choices.
Yes, because we have the capacity for it.
We are it. We're the one we've been waiting for.
Yeah, that's right. Gee. So Ian, is it this coming week that the competition is on?
They're doing a draw on the 30th.
Sorry, could you say that again?
They're doing a draw on the 30th.
Oh, that they're going to draw on it this coming week?
Yeah.
What day?
30th, they said.
30th. That's Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it
Okay.
started because I've only just learned about it that it was on, so I'm not sure when it started.
Oh, I'm glad you got on. Okay, so it's Saturday today. So you got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday morning, right? I'm not sure, like Australian time and your time, I'm not sure what it will be. But so you've got 3 days. If you can, and it won't make much difference if you're here or not. But in the mornings, I'll do visualization in my own mind with you. Do you know what I mean? Of you winning. And we'll just build a little bit more energy around that. And if anybody else wants to join me in doing that.
We have a winner. It's Ian.
I would love to.
Yeah. It can help.
Mm.
Just
And
increase that vibration.
No matter what, Ian, you'll always be a winner to me.
Absolutely.
Mm. I think if I did win, I'd like one of my biggest things, all the choices that I've got, is moving to Australia. Because I've been talking to a magnetic mind coach, and she said about working in collaboration, and like she would help me if I moved to Australia. So yeah,
Wow, that's amazing.
that's one of the biggest things. Like one of my choices I've got is I'd like to move to Australia.
That's a big plan.
Yes, going from the northern hemisphere to the southern.
Sounds wonderful, Ian. That's good news.
Mm-hmm.
Big life plan. Lots of
Sometimes it takes new
possibility.
place, new beginning. Sorry, Heinz.
Yeah, it was sort of the same. Lots of possibilities, new beginning.
Mm.
Well, the person I've been talking to said about working in a healing center there, and it would help if I had the certification. So yeah.
Mm. Ask your heart, Ian.
Pardon?
Ask your heart.
My heart doing good. Thank you.
No, I mean ask. You have to ask the question to your own heart whether you should choose Australia or not.
Yeah, I can see myself working there and little kangaroos coming and me feeding the kangaroos. Koalas.
Mm. Mm.
Going for a walkabout.
To live in a community of like-minded. Sorry, Ian, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry.
I was just going to say, to live in a community of like-minded people is really a wonderful thing to be able to do.
And it's about what you can give to those communities.
Mm-hmm. And what the collaboration can build, right?
Mm-hmm. You are capable, Ian.
Mm.
There's a lot of space to grow in such communities.
Well, guys, I'm going off to start my Saturday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alison.
Great.
Wonderful day,
Yeah.
Alison.
Say hi to Caleb.
Oh, well, thank you, Heinz. She's been sleeping, which is good, you know.
Well, it was Friday
That's
yesterday, so there's a meaning to young people sleeping on
and
Saturday and Sunday.
exactly. But she was like last week, she said, this week I want to join the group again. So I said to her yesterday, so are we going to start so that you can join next week? Yes, ma'am. But she really gets a lot out. She got a lot out of being with us, which I was so grateful for. Really, really grateful. It's good. It gives her an idea of what she could do with her, with her friends at times, right? So, yeah, all good. Have a great day. Bye bye, Jesse. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
Allison.
Bye
Thanks,
bye.
Okay.
Alison.
And I'm reminded of the purpose of this group is to help. It's like to help each other in our creative process to create a life that we want. So I'm all for putting that in the forefront. Doing that with you, the visualization, working together, because I'm reminded of Linda Gager, right? The power of eight, which is focusing on the healing of an individual. That's the creation is the same thing. Just as Allison said, right? Adding energy to the choices.
Mhm. And by supporting Ian with his winning energy, is supporting him to get to Australia, is supporting him to get on with much more beauty in his life. Next level.
Yeah.
Finding our creative process that works for us.
Mm.
Sending you a lot of love and support. Sorry.
You're good.
No, just sending, as I'm saying, I said, sorry. I just want to say that I'm sending Ian a lot of love and positive vibration, and yeah, that he will succeed, whatever. Sorry, go ahead, Jesse.
I think it's the greatest gift we can be and help, and is helping people find their creation, their creative structure, their creative process. And it doesn't mean everything comes the way we want it, when we want it, and how we want it.
And a great example of that was Pascal's wish for his headphones only to speak when he was speaking, so we wouldn't hear all the noise. And he got some new headphones, and they canceled out all the noise. It wasn't Zoom who did it.
When we see it, realize it, it's like it happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those miracles we're talking about. The
Being part of your group, Jesse, is your meeting is invaluable, really.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, have all this support. You know, I can't describe it. It's helped me grow. You know, helped everybody grow, and thank you for that.
Helps me. I was talking with a friend of mine on Thursday. He said, he bumped into something similar I bumped into. He's like, I've been meditating on my own, and he's like, it's like I'm plateau. I remember that. I remember meditating, and I was getting frustrated doing it alone.
Even nature, you know, plants, they're living in symbiosis. You know? Even nature, they're helping each other out.
Yes. We are nature.
Yep.
It's like we're coming up on 2 years of doing it together, and I'm no longer bored with meditating.
Becomes our habit. It becomes part of us.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jesse.
Doing it with others.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one with you should drink 8 glasses of water each day. That's hard, drinking 8 glasses of water when it's easy to drink 8 glasses of wine to dinner. It's perspective again. You need to look at it differently.
And the value that I found working with others, like meditating with others, talking with others, is that it really could bring forth what I couldn't or what I wouldn't allow myself to see. And that's what I think the limitation of self-meditating is, like it's that We won't allow ourselves to go deep enough. Unless we're around others or with others, they help bring out our limitations, our restrictions that we can't see on our own.
But you've been consistent for 2 years, yeah. So what we do daily is for the long term, it's for and will pay off, for far ahead. Yeah, so thank you for your consistency for doing this and making it available for us.
It helps me, so I selfishly in that, yeah.
But by doing that every day, you're telling the ego to shut up, just follow. You're taking charge. Or your higher self is taking charge, not the ego.
That's what I explained to my friend. It's like there's so much that happens in the silence. Yeah, there's so much that happens. It's like, yeah, there's a group. He couldn't believe it. He's like, yeah, there's a group of us that get together, and at sometimes we don't say anything.
The truth, love doesn't have to be explained, but you can explain it. So being in silence, being with ourselves, being the group, we're being one with love, with the truth.
In the silence is when you can see the difference between them. Truth, there's really any silence in silence. Now we can get to more peace, which when it's peace, there's some truth and there's some stronger silence. It's like it's practice. Which with the recode is what it is listen to what comes up, how it comes up. And then we look at where we look at the charge, knowing that we want positive charges, and we look when we're not in a positive charge. It's, there's some resistance to it, right? There's some restriction or some limitation between the truth and the ego. And what's in the middle is the unconscious, subconscious aspect of without words, right? We put some restriction or limitation on our truth. Which all of us have done because we've all survived. We've all grown up in a community, in a society, in a family structure that told us who we are, how we should be, and we've unconsciously adopted or accepted that.
The silence is the absolute truth, yeah. Because as soon as you have to analyze and explain all that, that's the ego. We don't need. Silence is like a portal to. That's how we connect to the universe.
And connect to ourselves that's connected to the universe, to the truth, to our passion, to our purpose, to our power.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, for me, we see it's our peace, connected to our peace, connects to our passion, our purpose, and our prosperity. And how I working love able is to be curious, to be open, and to accept.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Teachers, Dan Siegel, the one that introduced, like said, gave me the definition, provided the definition of love as those three things. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I can wear that. I can try that on, and I can look and see it's in reflection. So looking back, I can see where was I open, where was I curious, where was I accepting, and where I was not. Where I wasn't, it means I could do better next time.
Yes.
Practicing the love muscle. First with
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yep.
Sorry, G, go ahead.
No, you're right. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
I think people want to be loved and they want to love others.
Mm.
And I think hidden inside of that is like the trap to that is that we need to love ourselves first. Like we need to learn that.
Yeah.
We need to practice that.
Yes.
Then when we can do that, then we can be loved and lovable with others.
Yes. Yes. At the end of the day, it's all about love. You know, with love we grow. Without it, we stagnate. So,
Yes.
so yeah, love thyself. We can only give what we have inside. So the more we love ourselves, the more we will be able to love others. and accepting them for who they are.
Curious of who they are, what they
Mm.
want, the desires, and open.
Yep.
Open to all kinds, all ways, all passions, all purposes.
That is accept.
That is accept.
And surrendering to the truth. Yeah.
Surrendering, which is a version of letting go.
Mm.
And my structure was that surrendering was losing. It's not that at all.
Just by surrendering, we're letting go of the ego. Ego is fear. Yeah. Sorry. So.
Sorry. I was going to say surrendering makes room for the truth, the capital T truth.
Mm-hmm. And that is love. Yeah. Truth and love go hand in hand.
I'm curious now because you're talking about self-love. Like hand on heart, can you guys say that you love yourself 100%? Like, yeah.
It is a choice. Yeah. So, do you choose fear or love? You can't be at the same place both at the same time. You know.
I'm not there, Ian, and all the time, every time, is that present in me. All I can say is it's improving.
Mm. It's a choice from moment to moment to choose love over fear. Because the ego will always try, to drag you around and then scared of this, scared of that, and doubt of this, and doubt of that, and
Yeah, because I wouldn't say I'm 100% there either, but it's improving as well.
it's okay. You have to know both sides of it, And when you constantly experience fear, you will know the other side, what you've been lacking. When you're constantly, it's just both sides of the same coin. But you have to balance between it, not like letting fear taking over.
Not so much fear, it's around our self-love, like actually 100% loving yourself.
Because lack of love is when fear is taking over. Some way, some sort of, somehow. And lack of fear is because love is taking over.
That's why I look at charges, like the charge of love is positive, and the charge of fear is negative.
Yeah.
And so I can replace fear with frustration. It's frustration. I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, there are times, right, there that fear drives me, but there's times that frustration charges. It's the same. They're the same thing,
Mhm.
just a different word.
Mhm.
And sometimes those limitations, right, the ego, the restrictions, we put different words, associate different words to them so that we can relate. I use a positive and negative, which is just my perspective. And that's our language exists to draw out the differences. Which could also be draws out the similarities.
Mhm.
So you'll see that even similar and different have charges. And I see that it's like then choices are available.
Yep.
We can choose to be positive about it. We can choose to be negative, and that helps me shape my perspective of choice. No, because I want to choose positivity, even if I can't in the moment, even if I resist it in the moment.
Mhm.
Damn it, I just want to sit on the couch. I don't want to go out and help you, wife. I'm tired. I'm tired. Just let me sit here.
Who's tired?
I worked
My
all
ego
day
is-
and now I get home and you want to get up and go do something. Let me just sit here. Poor me, Mr. Ego. So I'll grudgingly get up and do it to prove I'm lovable. Relationships with ourselves and others.
But fear is a teacher too. Yeah? So by facing fear, we're learning about ourselves, get to know ourselves.
Knowing that that fear was just a choice that we made many times over a long time ago that set our patterns.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how we coped with a similar situation in the past that worked.
Yes. Yes.
It's like the fundamentals I see of my life is like others. I can view everything through time and I view everything through space. Like all of our perspectives are shaped on those two. I can't, like, I go back and forth with space. It's like space is limited and expanding. Space is charged, negative and positive, and everything in between. So there's a time that if I reflect, I'm going backwards. If I'm worried, it's usually going like there's an expectation. Now, it's like expectation is into the future.
Yep.
I know my frustrations come from expectations. Our worries come from expectations. They're not like all absolutes. They all specifically work different for everyone. But fundamentally, right, we have perspectives. We tend to look forward or look backwards. We tend to be charged in our wiring, which are our emotions, because we're emotion. Our being is emotion. So our emotions is where I look at the charge.
I think the reason most of us have been struggling is because the truth has been hidden for us. They call it so many things. Whether you call it God or devil, plus or minus, or love or fear, it's all about the same.
Yep.
And now we have to reconnect, but the answer is within ourselves. We don't have to go outside and look for it.
Which is where all the quote problems, right, showed up.
Yeah.
Because we used to look into ourselves for the joy, the peace, and
Yep.
As a child that was just learning how to put words together and listen to what other people were telling us.
Yeah.
They weren't telling us. They were telling us how to be, not who to be. Sorry. They were telling us how and who to be, perspective. And we didn't realize that we had a choice to be from inside ours, because every time we acted it out or pursued it, right, there was a time they told us that was wrong, so we would correct that.
So, along the way, we forgot about it. But we started up by being lovable.
Yes, but baby isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at children, what are the first words they normally say? No, no, no.
We hear it 5 times more than the one. Yes.
Yeah.
And no is so easy to say. Because no, like you don't have to, the no doesn't require any curiosity. No doesn't require any openness, and no doesn't require any acceptance.
It's all about restriction.
Yep. There's no, like, you don't have to change with no's. It's like, I can just stay the status quo, which then, like, the underlying that is like, oh, everything's fine. And you know. We don't have to invest our energy into no's.
It's like an electric fence. In an imaginary electric fence to keep the herbs inside.
No is the easy way to say I'm right.
Is it that way? Do we know?
And I, my experience for myself and others, right, is like that is to admit, to accept that we're not right, meaning like we don't have the answer, we don't know. That is curiosity. And if you think of, like, I know my structure, it was the goal for the child was to prove we were right.
Mm-hmm. The right to be
in
curious.
Exactly, rather than curious.
Mm.
So it was more important to be right than curious.
Mm.
You step into any classroom I've been in, now it may change. I hope so. And I think it is. So I think that is where a society of love learns that.
Mm.
To accept our differences, to be open
Mm-hmm.
to our differences,
Mm-hmm.
to be open, to be curious about our differences. And then I'll even switch the word. It's like, well, why use differences why not be looking at our similarities?
Mm.
Why does it have to be differences?
All we want to do is to be ourselves at the beginning. And then we have to fight all our life to get back on track.
Fight to get back on track. The great thing is, that's where we were to begin with. So it was the first thing we did.
Mm-hmm. It's all inside of us. We don't have to teach the baby about love. The baby is love. It's an expression of love. I'm feeling we're getting back on track, by the help of these meetings. It's doing amazing stuff. Really. I'm more clear now than ever by doing. I know that I've not been here consistently, but it helps each time I'm here.
So much power, willingness. Willingness requires taking a step into the yes.
Mm.
And acknowledging the no. have no doubt you can be a great coach even without the certification. There's amazing things for your amazing heart. When I first met you, that was the thing that spoke loudest to me was your heart. The love in your heart. Oh,
Mm-hmm. Our heart has a memory of its own, you know, not connecting to our brain.
it's the beauty of that heart. It is always there. And it always runs through the ego first. Which rightly so.
And the ego says, this can't be right.
Yep. You got to be right, heart. Come on, that's not right, heart. So then we can tend to suppress it.
Yep.
Ignore it, not listen to the signs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We try to fix it with things from outside, you know, instead of look it in.
Yeah, realizing that. Woo.
Yeah, our heart has been there for us all along, yeah, day and night. We don't have to ask it for anything. We would make sure that we would breathe and while we sleep, and you know, doing it automatically for us, you know. Always been taking care of us, and it always will. You know, we just have to reconnect with our heart. Wow, this has been amazing.
Amazing, because we, the hearts, come together and make it so.
So true.
It's just a space that's there that we are willing to step into. So I thank you all for your willingness.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, gentlemen, thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you have a great Saturday, all of you.
Have a great day. Yeah, have a great day and take care.
Bye.
Till next time.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.